Hello. Welcome to the latest episode of pdxMindShares. I'm your host, Meg Riley, and this is pdxMindShares, brought to you by pdxMindShare and sponsored by Anvil Media, a digital marketing agency in Portland, Oregon. And we're helping Portland get hired. So a lot of you are on the job hunt, and some of you may be recent grads who don't have a lot of experience. And you may be wondering, how do I pad my resume? How do I add in important information and stand out among the major competition right now when I have so little experience to put on my resume? This is a really good question and a really good concern to have because the competition is fierce. So I have a few tips to help you fluff up your resume and a few things to pay attention to as a recent grad and a person who's newly out in the job market. So the first key thing is a lot rides on your summary. So if you've seen templates and examples of resumes, you'll notice something called candidate profile or summary. And that's the beginner paragraph of any resume, usually above skills or experience, depending on which template you're using. A lot rides on this because you don't have a lot to put in the experience section a little bit lower down. You really have to beef up that summary. And the reason why is the summary tells the hiring manager your story. It tells a narrative. How do you want to be remembered? Do you want them to remember you as the creative podcaster with digital ad experience? Or do you want them to remember you as creative blogger with content marketing experience, customer service? You really want those key items and those key takeaways to be represented there. You'll also want to emphasize a lot more about what you can do for them, not just who you are. So put your career goals on there and how they align up with the company's goals. What are you there to achieve for them? What are you hoping to get out of this experience for them, not just for yourself? You want to wow them with this paragraph because they are going to start scrolling down either visually with their eyes or literally with their mouse pad. So you really want to grab their attention. An important note, spelling and grammar is even more important for you. When you have someone with 20 years experience who has a bunch of stuff to put on the resume, the content becomes more important. And I still think it's unprofessional to have grammar and spelling mistakes, but they can be a little bit more forgiven because the hiring manager is reading that content and is a little more focused. So if you missed it, they probably are missing those grammar and spelling mistakes too. But when you have less content to put on the resume, those things stand out a lot more. So they're a bigger deal. So you'll want to make sure that you pay really close attention and proofread 2 or 3 times and get someone else to proofread a second pair of eyes. Maybe someone who is better with English literature and writing to proofread and make sure that it is perfect, or at least damn near perfect, because those things are really going to stick out and you need to impress them wherever you can. You'll also want to show that you pay more attention to detail. So not just going over proofreading, but making sure that you're not missing any key details, key items that are from the job description, things that they're looking for any kind of experience you have with that, even if it's in personal time or maybe a course or a seminar you took. Really pay those key details attention when you're reading over that job description. Hardcore flaunt your skills. There is no humble brag here, not when you have little experience. That's already humble enough as it is. So really beef up your resume with accomplishments. And that could be, you know, in school, volunteer work, important associations or organizations you may belong to, wherever you can. If you've done something that was really cool and recognized and noticed, put that on there. Also flaunt it on your LinkedIn profile. They'll be looking at that as well to vet you. So they want to make sure that if you have a little experience, at least with the little experience that you have, you've done very well. Highlight your education and skills. So if that's all the experience you have is your education and the skills that you bring to the table, definitely highlight those. Make sure those really stand out. Have 2 or 3 tables of bulleted skills underneath your summary. Make sure that those align up with the job description and that you'll be using those daily within the job that you're applying to, not just any random skills that you have. They may be cool. It's great that you're good at something, but if it's not relevant to the job, don't put it there. Put stuff that is relevant to the job and make sure that there are a lot of them. And you highlighting, you know, your education, of course. It's very important to highlight that you have a degree in what they're looking for, but if you don't, but the skills from that degree are easily transferable, make that clear in bullets or a description underneath the university and degree that you earned. This is another opportunity for you to flaunt those achievements. So talk about your GPA, any boards, organizations you got elected to. Those are important. And they show distinct leadership, which can help you. They want employees that will grow with them and become leaders that won't stay at the bottom. So show that you have worked your way up, even if it was just at university. And of course, internships, volunteer work, anything that you can pass off as work experience. They're work-esque. You did a job even if you weren't paid for it, or if you had a paid internship, that's great too. But volunteer work, internships, those are jobs. You had to get up every day, you had to go to a place, you had to put in some hours, and you learned on the job, you know, in the field skills. So list any relevant internships and volunteer work. And if it's not relevant as in closely related, list your daily activities that are relevant to the job. You may be going from, you know, working at the Oregon Humane Society as a volunteer with dogs to office manager, but there are certain skills learned at, you know, a pet shelter that you can use, like customer service, filing, data entry. All those things are important for an office manager. And then lastly, buzzwords, buzzwords, buzzwords. You also might call them keywords. You'll notice in the job description, there may be a certain tone, a certain language, certain words that are being used. That's on purpose. The hiring manager creates a job description based on buzzwords and keywords from their website. So their core values and their mission statement, what the company and the team is all about. Maybe their team personality, their brand will be represented in the job description. Pay attention to those things and make sure that your resume matches that tone and uses those keywords. Those buzzwords will stand out, whether they're using a program like a resume builder program to sort through and vet. You'll be able to get through any of those vetting like discards. Or if it's a person themselves, like reading the resume, they'll notice that. They'll appreciate that attention to detail. So make sure you're using buzzwords. I recommend going over the job description and like printing it out and highlighting any buzzwords with a particular bright color like yellow or pink. Those things will stand out to you and you should use them. Well, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, or you can reach out to us on all of the social medias. We're pdxMindShare on Twitter, Facebook, and pdxMindShare or on Instagram. Send us a direct message or just comment here on the video. And if there's a particular topic that you'd like us to do a podcast on, let us know. Send us a message or drop it in the comments. We're happy to give you tips through our podcast or our blog on anything you're interested in. If you want more information for job search tips and resume building tips, go to our blog at www.pdxmindshare.com/our-blog.